I've been talking about Roger Goodell. If you're a fan of the Two Live Stews and you listen to the show, you know I had been calling him Dictator Goodell. I had always talked about the fact that there was no system of checks and balances in some of these rulings that he came down with. And this is more evident right now, okay? What you've seen over the last month is just crazy. And that's why Roger Goodell shouldn't have the ability to argue the fact that he's looked at what he's done over this whole domestic abuse case and the child abuse case and try to correct himself. He didn't give people the chance to correct themselves or their mistakes in the past, the players. So that's why it's very hypocritical. Breeze also echoed the sentiment of many former Saints players and media analysts who had pointed out that Goodell has not been held accountable for his mistakes made during the investigation of Ray Rice's domestic abuse case. And he's not holding himself to the same standard to which he held Saints leaders to in the bounty punishments as well. And Drew Brees is 100% correct. 100% correct. And he couldn't have said it any better. He is not holding himself, Roger Goodell, to the same standards that he did to these players in all these different scenarios and situations. He's just not. He's just not. So I think it's just real bootleg. I mean, it's bootleg as hell. Okay? The way Roger Goodell is handling this thing. And Drew Brees is one of those guys that's respected in the league. He's a class dude. I mean, hell, a man brought a Super Bowl championship to New Orleans. I mean, sit back and think about that for a second. In your lifetime, if you're over the age of 15 or 20, okay, in your lifetime, did you ever think that the New Orleans Saints would win a Super Bowl? No, you didn't. And if you say you did, you're from New Orleans or you a liar. That's one of the most incredible things. It's not even incredible when I see Seattle win a Super Bowl. You know, Seattle winning a Super Bowl pales in comparison to the shock that I had when I realized that the New Orleans Saints in those last couple of seconds of that Super Bowl were going to win that they were going to win. So Drew Brees is a class act. I mean, he could be the mayor in New Orleans at some point if he wants to. You better believe that. That's going to happen. That's going to go down. So I don't know. It looks like Roger Goodell is going to keep his job because what they've used is this tactic where he's just flying under the radar. Okay, he's just flying under the radar and not talking about a lot of stuff and not getting into all of this stuff. And I just don't know. I don't know. I think he's going to keep his job because I think he would have already lost it at this point if he wasn't going to keep it. Okay? So we'll see what happens with it. But Drew Brees is on record, and a lot of players are on record. A lot of players are on record talking about that, they don't get it. And the fact that Roger Goodell is wrong in this, simple as that, is that he's dead ass wrong and that he should fall on the sword. And I 100% agree. I 100% agree that he should fall on the sword because ultimately he's the leader. And the big thing in which I talked about a couple of days ago is the fact that it seems like, and this is always the fireable offense. This is always the reasons on why when they can't, it's almost like tax evasion. If they can't get a crook on something else, they'll just paint in a broad brush, tax evasion. They'll get them on tax evasion. All of the gangsters, that's what they did. When they couldn't pin nothing direct on them or a murder or this, that, or the other, they always pin tax evasion on them. Same thing in sports. If they couldn't really substantiate the accusations and point to something directly, what they do is they say, well, you've lost institutional control. There's a lack of institutional control. And that's what I think has happened here. They have lost institutional control. And the head of that whole saga is Roger Goodell. He is. It's Roger Goodell. Let me get your thoughts on that. 404-382-0338. You can also text the show if you'd like. 770-847-0536. I got an email here from, what's his name? He says, Levathos. He says, hey, Doug, like the show. I'm listening in Texas. Thank you for listening in Texas. The word is passing. Thank you very much. He says, I like the show Blackish so far. He said he liked it, and I agree with him. I actually liked the show Blackish last night. A lot of people I know don't like it, but I actually liked the show last night. I want to get your thoughts on that. We're having a little fun talking about your favorite sitcoms of all times and what's your favorite sitcom and a sitcom that you think could even be in the conversation at least. And it says, Stu, here's another text I got. It says, Stu, I like Blackish. I get it. I hope it works out for a few seasons. And that's another thing. I don't know about which demographic they're trying to keep or gain. I don't know if that show is going to grab the biggest demographic and is going to be able to withstand getting cut, because I think that it's probably going to be a little bit limited, or maybe not. Maybe the demographic or that I'm thinking may have a problem with it might tune in because it's interesting and it gives them an interesting perspective. I think so. I think that might work. So I think that it might, work. And I don't know if you'll ever get to the status, and I said this earlier, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I don't know if you'll get to the status of a Cosby Show or something to that degree, but I kind of liked it. Me and Tree are going to have a debate about this at some point today and talk a little bit about it, because I think that I think that she kind of missed the point on it. We'll see about it, but we'll have some conversation about that a little bit later. All right, the number is 404-382-0338. Right now, let's go ahead and talk to my fam, Mark Gray from 106.7 The Fan in Washington, D.C. He joins me on the Doug Stewart Show. Mark, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Mark, obviously, man, I wanted to get you on the day to talk a little bit about what's going on with D.C. sports, in particular, your Washington Redskins. Now, let me make sure and find out, because we've had conversations. Is it the Washington Redskins or is it the burgundy and gold for you?
It's burgundy and gold for me.
That's what.
Now, I ride or die with the pro football franchise. I mean, you grow up as a kid around here, Doug, and you watch Doug Williams win the Super Bowl, you're a fan for life. But, if one Native American is disrespected or feels disparaged by that nickname, then it's one too many for me. So the only time I really use it is because there's certain places where you can't get away from it right now, like Twitter and certain, social media, search engine tools, if you will. You kind of roll with that. But I ride or die with the burgundy and gold. It's like Chris Rock. He loves black people. He hates N-words.
Right.
Well, I love the burgundy and gold. I can't deal with the R-words.
That's what's up. We're talking to Mark Gray right now from 106.7 The Fan in Washington, D.C. The Redskins tonight take on the Giants. Mark, what are your thoughts on this game coming into tonight, taking on the Giants?
It's like Dennis Hopper in that old Nike commercial. Bad things, man. Bad things. I see Eli getting a little bit better, getting a little bit more comfortable in terms of this new offense that they have installed, this West Coast thing. I see a burgundy and gold secondary that's without D'Angelo Hall. I could see Victor Cruz saucering his way down to M Street tonight, getting his grub on and then heading on up the road. I mean, I just got a real bad feeling about this game right now. Largely because I think the Giants' offense is getting better, and while Kirk Cousins looks like he's going to be a great fantasy football league quarterback, I'm not quite sure if he's not the guy that's going to be a lot like Matthew Stafford, who win you a lot of fantasy games but can't get it done when it counts. I mean, he had 427 yards, I believe it was, last week, but He needed to make extra plays on that final drive. He throws a pick. With the quarterback, it's as much about the stats as it is about the hit factor, and I think Kirk Cousins will probably play himself into a big contract similar to Matt Flynn. I'm just not quite sure he can make enough plays to be a winning quarterback. That being said, he is more efficient in the offense at this point in his development than RG3 was. Football like they do, you almost have to think, because it's going to be a wet track. It's raining here right now, so I think it's going to be a blood and guts physical game, which probably works for both teams because they both had pretty rough games last week. But I just think the Eagles and the Washington game was so physical and such a short turnaround that I think the Giants getting edged tonight, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 31-28 with the special teams costing them like they've done the first couple games this season.
Talking to Mark Gray, finishing up with Mark Gray from 106.7 The Fan in D.C. He's play-by-play and multimedia director for Heritage Sports, as well as HBCU doubleheader in North Carolina A&T taking on Howard this weekend. That's the big game in HBCU sports this weekend, huh, Mark?
Well, Dad, and I'm doing Tennessee State and FAMU, which was the game in Atlanta, and I don't know what's going on with the 100 Black men and the powers that be, but that game needs to come back to Atlanta where it belongs. All right, so let me just put that out there publicly. But it's Tennessee State's homecoming, and FAMU is traveling without the Big Hand, dog.
Yeah,
I mean, that's Hal Melvin without the Blue Note. You'll never go platinum.
Well, you know why FAMU hadn't been back to Atlanta because of the whole controversy, I guess, with the band and the team. But I got to disagree with you, man. South Carolina State should stay in the Atlanta Classic, brother.
Well, okay. Hey, I don't have any problem with you guys in that Classic because you're good for 20,000, 30,000 fans.
Right.
It's just that who you playing ain't good to nobody.
I didn't want to say it.
I don't want to take any shots at A&T, but it was disappointing calling that game last year. I'm expecting a full building. It was barely half full. And if you grew up watching the growth of that Classic, man, you know that it's unacceptable to be around 30,000. So buy those tickets, y'all. I mean, it's the best college football going to be played in town.
Right.
And don't tell your brother I said that because I may run into him in the press box. But you know what I'm saying. It's the best college football being played inside the city limits these days.
Right.
So go out there and buy those tickets. But I'm going to miss you at that game next week, man, because I've been summoned to do the arduous task of Southern University's homecoming in Baton Rouge.
Oh, okay.
So I have to take one for the team.
You got to take one for the team. That's what's up. Well, Mark, man, I appreciate the time, and I'd love to talk to you a little bit later about the whole situation with the Redskins name, the burgundy and gold's name, but we don't have time right now. We'll get to it later. Thank you so much for your commentary on this game tonight on the Skins and the Giants. We'll talk to you soon, brother.
Hey, appreciate it. Download the HSRN app for Google and iPhones.
There he is, Mark Gray right there with the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you so much, Mark. And that's one thing about this Classic, and he's talking about the Classic between South Carolina State and A&T coming to Atlanta. South Carolina State travels. They travel big time. A&T, not so much. Where A&T at? I'm calling A&T out. Come on to the damn game. Support the game. We really need you to do that. All right, up next on the Doug Stewart Show, Jerry Jones, allegedly, he's an extorter. He's the extorter. Yeah, he's in the extorting game as well. I talked about Jameis Winston a little while ago, so we'll talk about that. Grab your call. Still talking about your favorite sitcoms of all times. Tweet me, text me, all of that. Email, all of that. It's the Doug Stewart Show. This your folk, Doug Stewart. Want to protect you and your family from life's unexpected mishaps? Then join 7. Join 7 is a prepaid legal company under the umbrella of the Protection Group. Join 7 is the only group benefit or motor club in the U.S. that offers auto reimbursement coverage, key replacement coverage, roadside assistance, gives you a current Medi-file, prescription savings, and a fully encompassed prepaid legal benefit that includes identity theft. They got your back. The average combined cost to purchase these benefits individually is over $850 a year. Join today and take advantage of all 7 for $17 a month. They've been around for over 20 years, so check them out by clicking on the banner link on my page, thedougstewartshow.com, or the app. Just go ahead and join 7. All right, I know the deal. You've been thinking about starting that online store, right? And you do know e-commerce makes billions a year. That's right, billions with a B. Well, just do it, and do it right with my friends at AmeriCommerce. AmeriCommerce is an easy-to-use tool to sell anything online, on Facebook, and through mobile phones. Over 100,000 merchants and website owners have chosen AmeriCommerce to handle their stores and customers. They have the most in-depth features in the industry, which include multiple storefronts, website management from one source, a Facebook shopping application, a mobile-optimized website, and much more. Don't let eBay, Amazon, and Zappos get all the money. Get your piece of the pie, too. Click on the link on thedougstewartshow.com or the app link for details. Welcome to Atlanta, my SC State Bulldog family. Once again, your boy Stu is throwing the biggest party of the year, October 3rd, 2014, in honor of the classic game being played in Atlanta that Saturday. It's only for the grown